2001 BMW X5 drive belts need to be replaced. I'm Brian Eslick from Automotive, and I'm going to walk you through that process. So we need to get the car in the air. If you're doing this at home, you can just jack it up in the front and use jack stands, and you can put the jack stands here on the right behind the driver's wheel and the passenger wheel. There's a little rubber mount. So once you get that, you need to remove this lower shield that's on the bottom. It's just held on with some 10mm bolts that go around in a few spots like that. So go ahead and remove those. So on this model, there's going to be a little dust cap that looks like this. It goes under, if you look, here's the crank pulley. Here's the power steering pump right here. And just above the power steering pump is the idler pulley, the tensioner pulley. There's going to be a little cap like this. Pop that cap off of a screwdriver, and then you're going to use a T45 Torx, and you're going to put it in, and you're going to set it for clockwise, like you're going to tighten it, and then you're going to take your ratchet, set up, and pry it, and then that loosens the belt, and you can slip the belt off. Now what you want to do is you want to remember how the belt route it. So what you do is, I like to do is, you can either take a picture of it with your phone or draw a picture on a piece of paper, and I'll print out a diagram and show you guys. So here's a printout of the belt diagram. So this is your crank, this is your AC or your power steering pulley, and this is your tensioner here. So when you rotate it clockwise, it's going to pop off. So I wanted to just show you this so you can figure out how it routes when you go back together. And then this one here is going to be your fan. They're not showing the fan blade itself, but you'll have to, once you get the belt off, you'll have to route the belt through the fan, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, after getting the belt kind of off and it's just hanging there, it's going to be hooked around the water pump, and then the fan shroud. So we have to route this belt through the fan. So what you do is you take the belt, you tuck it behind one of the blades, like so, and then you spin the blade upwards, and then you keep tucking the belt behind the blades until you cover all the fan blades. And then once you get all the fan blades, you route it behind all the fan blades, the whole belt will slide out the back. So now that you got the main fan belt off, we need to take the AC belt off. And to do that, it's pretty simple. It's right here on the tensioner. All you have to do is loosen up the 13mm bolt here and the 13mm bolt here, and it'll just loosen by itself. It's by this tensioner that's actually spring loaded, and it'll loosen it. So then you can slip the belt off, and you can see how the routing is. It's just around the AC compressor and the crank pulley and the tensioner pulley here. So go ahead and take the belt off, and then you can slip your new belt on, and then I'll show you how to tighten the tensioner down. So now that you got the belt routed back on, what you want to do is you want to take a 17mm wrench and put it on the inside bolt here. And what you do, and I slipped it up through the hoses for the power steering. As you can see, this car is an oily mess, but anyway, so now the belt's on there, and now what you do is with the 17 wrench, you torque the tensioner like that until it's tight, and you can see the belt is tight. And then all you do is tighten the two 13mm bolts while you hold the wrench in place. So you'll tighten those two bolts, and that is how you install the AC belt. And after that, I'll show you how to route the new belt back through the fan and put it back on. So now we need to take our new belt, drive belt, and tuck it behind the fan, kind of like so, and catch one of the fan blades again with the belt, and then rotate it upwards, tucking the belt over all the fan blades as you rotate it around. So now that I got the belt through, what I did was on the very top one, on the fan, I hooked around that obviously first, then I ran the belt around the tensioner, and then around the crank, and then around the power steering pump. And the last thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put my ratchet back in here and torque the tension over and slip it over the alternator last. And then that'll, and then it'll release the tension. And then you can refer back to the diagram that I showed you to see what I'm talking about. So now that you got it on there, if it's too hard to get it on over the alternator, what you could do is you could slip it off the upper idler pulley, slip it off, put it on the alternator, and then slip it over the idler pulley. That works really well too. And then just double check that all the belts are going through all the grooves on all the belts and all the pulleys. And after you double check your work, put your shield back up, and that's pretty much how you change the belt on a 2001 BMW X5 with the 4.4 liter V8. I'm Brian Eslick from How To Automotive, and as always, it's my pleasure sharing my experience with you guys, and I'd like to thank you for watching and remind you to subscribe.